Hey there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari, and welcome back to Quincy Carr. Quincy, I love the shirt. Where have you been? You got to tell us.
Hey, I am back. I am happy. I just got off of a cruise. But before, as far as this shirt, this comes from a friend of mine here in Norfolk, Virginia, Fanny. She has a collection of African clothing. And so I said, hey, why not rock this on the show today? Because we're talking about Black History Month as well. But as far as my cruise, I had so much fun. I visited Jamaica, as well as Cozumel, Mexico. And the cruise ship was pretty good. The passengers were a little light, but as you can see in these pictures, I had fun relaxing on the beach and also making people laugh, which is what it truly is all about. So,
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of fun to be back. I know it feels weird. Be like, Quincy, are you working or are you on a vacation? People ask that
I
of me
can't tell.
all the time. it's a
Not from these photos.
it's a workcation. That's what it is. It's a workcation. So make the passengers laugh and all that type of stuff. But I know you enjoyed yourself last week without me. I saw the episode. You were all smiles. Huh?
Yeah, you guys all abandoned ship on me. I'm just kidding. No, we do miss Cheryl Nelson, as I'm sure our viewers do as well, and she will be back shortly, hopefully, getting her back on the show soon. But Quincy, by the way, I do love the shirt, and I love shopping small and supporting local and support your friends. That's the best way to do it, right?
Oh yeah. She has an online shop, and then she has a physical location as well. So it's Fanny's housecollection.com if anyone is interested in. We got a great show lined up for you today because we are continuing to celebrate Black History Month, including an inspiring Olympic athlete you have to see to believe, as well as mortgage advice and investment in homes in Black communities.
Absolutely. And speaking of communities, we visit with one that is helping tackle food insecurity. But first, we're going to explore getting to know our neighbors through a really cool program out of Topeka, Kansas. That's next, right here on Main Street Living.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, with all the division in our country that we faced over the last few years, it may seem like we're moving farther apart from each other rather than moving forward together, I guess is how you want to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a project in Topeka, Kansas is working to change that with the belief that creating a better future starts with individual relationships in our neighborhoods. Topeka United and the Mosaic Partner Pairs project is breaking down barriers and uniting the community one relationship at a time. So we are very excited to welcome back to Main Street Living, Karen Hiller. Karen, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
So
A
let's
lot of
start from the
energy.
beginning here. Tell us about Topeka United. What is the goal?
Well, just a quick refresher, there was an organization that's sort of the parent of Topeka United that put together an 11-day recognition of the 65th anniversary of the Brown v. Board decision, which was Brown versus the Topeka Board of Education, you may recall, in 2019. And when we did that, we included people everywhere from plaintiff era to young people and everything in between, and had symposia, art, music, theater, film, all kinds of events, but lots of conversation. And part of that conversation was, it's been 65 years. How we doing? And naturally, and that went into also, because we had 5 questions at the time, and it was like, so what do you think we should do to make improvements? And so often the answer was, I don't know. And so out of that summer, that anniversary is May 17th. And so we got a group together that had been involved in the last symposium, and they'd promised us they'd meet once to debrief and also to talk about whether now is the right time to try and advance those agendas of inclusion, equity, opportunity, and welcome in our community. And they unanimously said yes. Spent the summer coming up with strategies and Mosaic Partner Pairs, as Danielle described it, foundationally to get long-lasting social change. If there's no real other way to do that than building one relationship at a time, then we wanted to get started. And we were familiar with an organization called Idea Connection System out of Rochester, New York, who has done that kind of relation building work for HR, for diversity in companies and communities, as well as innovation and team building. And it seemed like that model was something we could then bring people together to explore and implement.
Well, okay. Well, Karen, you mentioned about the Mosaic Partner Pairs. So one part of the Topeka United initiatives is that. Well, what is the purpose of that project specifically?
The purpose of that project then is to begin improving that fundamental social network in Topeka, literally to raise the bar in terms of people's understanding of themselves and of others, just racial, cultural, mutual understanding, a building of a trust relationship, and a deep friendship with at least somebody who is different from you on the outside or the way they approach family or community, but has similarities on the inside. That's foundational to building that relationship, and that's how Mosaic builds those. And
yeah, absolutely. And us trying to figure out what we have in common.
Exactly. Well, or you start with that and you go, oh gosh, I never imagined I would have met you, but look at what we have in common. Let's start from here to have those difficult conversations about uncomfortable issues and see where we end up.
So how do the Mosaic Partner Pairs work? How are they paired up, and what do they do to kind of gain an understanding about each other? Where do they start?
Well, they are paired through a two-part application format. They fill out a survey about kind of who they are and how they fit in the community: family, race, culture, religion, gender identity, socioeconomic status, job, no job, retired, young, all those things. And then the ISPI is a profile that they also fill out, and that is intended to be absolutely difference neutral. And it measures how you think and how you prefer to relate to other people. Those two together are used then to come up with the pairing of people who are different on the outside, but have similarities on the inside.
Wow. Okay. So how are you hoping that this project changes your community? And have you seen this impact so far?
People's reactions were amazement at the pairing, for starters. But then they did do, even in COVID, with the difficulties in getting together and how we interrelated instead of in person, virtually, and things like that. What they reported was doing that deep dive, having those conversations in an agreed safe space with an agreement to have those difficult conversations and go through that learning. And the commitment in Mosaic is that you are paired at the beginning and you meet 3 times a month, once in a small group of pairs in a facilitated session, volunteer coaches, and then twice by yourselves in whatever environment or whatever mode works best. And then it builds consistently throughout over that 9-month period.
Pretty cool.
Well, Karen, I love that you guys called this Mosaic too, because this project is a work of art, and it's really beautiful how you're bringing people together. How can viewers find more information about the Mosaic Partner Pairs project?
Well, they can check our website at topekaunited.org, go for TU initiatives, and then the Mosaic 2022 page. And you can find out about this year background and this year's, but there are also photos elsewhere of our onboarding event and our celebration of diversity that we wrapped up the event with, even a picture of one of the mosaics, which were our giveaway memento at the end that one of our glassmakers made for us.
Nice.
And also through that, people can get the names of how to connect with the IDEA connection systems and human grid folks that are helping us produce this. And we're happy to help network as well.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you. Thank you so much, Karen, as always.
Well, thank you.
All right.
We love having Karen Hiller on the show. Up next, we're going to meet one of the pairs from the Mosaic Partner Pairs project right here on Main Street Living. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Now, in our last segment, we learned about Topeka United and the Mosaic Partner Pairs program.
That's right. Well, now we're very excited to have one of those partner pairs here to tell us about the experience of working through the program. Please welcome Linessa Frazier and Seel. How are you ladies doing?
Just
Doing
fine.
well, thank you.
Well, glad to have you here. I'll start with you. Why did you decide to participate in the Mosaic Partner Pairs program? I want to go to Paris, but Pairs program.
Well, as I looked around and I saw the things going on in the world, like Ferguson, Missouri, and Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, I just kept thinking, I need to be part of the change that needs to happen, that this can't just keep going on in our country. So I started looking around. I'm not the kind of person to go out on the street and protest something, but I joined the NAACP to get more information, and I joined a group called Bridge Ministry, which is for pastors. I am a pastor in a Presbyterian church, to explore these issues. And the one thing that our African American brothers and sisters kept saying in both of those groups was, just listen to us and then believe what we're saying. And I thought, well, that's not rocket science. I can do that. So I started trying to do that. And that's when I saw a post that Karen Hiller made about the Mosaic Partners program. And I thought, that's the way I can be part of the change. And that's why I signed up.
I love that you were like, this needs to change and I need to be a part of it. That's just what everybody really should be able to do. How did you go about getting to know each other? Did you guys like chat, or was there some kind of guided format that you followed?
Well, Mosaic program is kind of like a class, we get this notebook and it's all full of sociological theories, and then also things about how to become friends, how to build friendships, that kind of thing. And it's very well designed, very approachable. Anybody that you're led through it, anybody can follow along. Yes, there are guidelines that we're supposed to use to work on our friendship with each other after we get put into pairs. But Linessa and I connected so hard and so quick that we kind of ditched the book and just started exploring what we could do to change the world one friendship at a time.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. A friendship, a partnership, and that's what you guys are doing. Now, Linessa, what was the most surprising or meaningful part of this process?
A couple of things, actually. One of the most surprising things was how accurate the assessment tool that we used prior to the program, how accurate it was in the pairing of me and Sue-Ann. Obviously, we don't look a lot alike, but with regard to the things that we feel and the passions that we have and the things that we pursue, the programming and the pairing was right on target. So that kind of surprised me initially because I wasn't sure exactly how effective that would be. The thing that really was the most profound, you heard Sue-Ann speak to it a little bit ago, around just listen to me and believe what I'm saying. And I had a real life situation where she actually said those words to me. And it was almost as if it was just such a relief that's the way that she would feel with regard to something that I was going through. So that was pretty significant.
Nice.
I mean, it sounds like it was something that was really impactful for both of you. Now, obviously, incredible experience, but how do you think this kind of program can make real changes in our society as a whole?
I think the thing to making change with regard to the differences that we see in our community today are relationships. The relationship that Sue-Ann and I built was so significant that I think about, if we were to roll this out to the entire world, maybe the entire universe, I think that people would understand it from the perspective of you have people in your life, friends, family members, who you don't necessarily agree with everything about them, maybe things that they believe, things that their politics revolve around, but because of that relationship, you're willing to give them benefit of the doubt. You're willing to give them or grant them some grace. And so I think if people understood that relationships actually are the impetus to that change or that change in feeling, that would be significant.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head about, having relationships and also, just being willing to understand the other side. So, Sue-Ann, like, why would you encourage others to get involved? I mean, I know that's a little process as far as getting people to feel the way you feel and understand.
Gandhi is credited with saying, be the change you want to see. And this is a way to do that. That's easy. It's approachable. And it's so impactful. It can make such a big difference. I would encourage anybody who, like me, had a desire to, we got to change this. We got to make something different. We got to do something different. This is a way to do that. And then that's why I would encourage people to join. If they have that desire and don't know what to do, this is it.
Mm.
Well, Linessa, I have to imagine you guys are so in sync that you agree with that as well. But after participating in the program, is there a specific goal or initiative that you think you will carry forward with you?
I think our next step is really to take our show on the road. We'd really like to share some of our learnings that we had from this program, as well as going into communities and faith-based communities, especially because Sue-Ann is a pastor, my husband is a pastor, and just really showing and sharing what we've learned and what's come out of this relationship for us.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so beautiful to see. I mean, me and Danielle are cool all the time, and and we barely know each other, but you guys have known each other. Do you feel like you found a long-lasting friendship?
Yep.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Yeah, we communicate pretty frequently, and that's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, then that's what we're missing, Danielle. We need to communicate more frequently. Okay.
All right. Is there anywhere you guys want to shout out so people can get more information about this program?
Absolutely. TopekaUnited.org, either on the website or on the Facebook page. Applications are still being taken. So we would encourage everyone to participate. It's life-changing.
It is. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. It was a life-changing experience for me.
Well, thank you, ladies, both so much for sharing that life-changing experience with both of us today.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you again to Sue-Ann Seel and Linessa Frazier from Mosaic Partner Pairs. Next up, we'll hear from a group that reminds us all about the power of community.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, the global pandemic caused millions of people to experience food insecurity. But long before COVID, many Americans already were faced with challenges accessing healthy, affordable food.
That's right. Food deserts are a common situation in low-income communities, often communities of color, where access to healthy food is limited because there are no grocery stores, which is just one reason that this story out of Oklahoma is so inspiring. Take a look.
I grew up in this community, and we've always had a grocery store on 23rd and Martin Luther King, and once it closed, I understood the desperation of people who didn't have transportation because they either had to walk several miles to try to get to a grocery store, try to carry those bags back, and I think it made a difference on how they provided or fed themselves and their families.
The Restore OKC is an asset-based community development organization here in Northeast Oklahoma City. Our goal is to be a really faithful bridge to bridge in the assets that are maybe missing from historical injustice. So restoring systems like food access is a huge piece of that mission for us. COVID was a huge impetus for this entire market. We had a micro grocer happening at the time, and really in one 24-hour period out of a 1,200 square foot micro grocer, we saw over 10,000 pounds of sales. What we saw is that it was critical that neighbors were able to walk and get groceries.
We opened our doors April 21st, and the response was just overwhelming. I saw a lady step in and she stopped and just started crying. She just said, "This is an answer to prayer." She pointed across the street and said that's where her home was. She was just so happy and elated to be able to walk across the street and get those basic food needs met.
Once we opened this store, I got a clearer picture of how desperate it was when people started coming in and they were so relieved that they could walk a couple of blocks to get what they needed versus having to wait on the bus, having to haul it back across town.
Out of 36 employees we have 27 that are actually from this community. We created access for employees to gain employment, but also for our neighbors to have access to fruits and vegetables. And to see that we can do that on a daily basis is inspiring and encouraging for me.
Oftentimes we hear a narrative that grocery stores are difficult to maintain in communities that are, quote, low income. In the first quarter that this store was open, this store did 4 times the national category sales average in fresh produce. We see health disparities in these communities because they lack access to fresh produce, not because it won't sell.
This market is making a positive impact because I see the people continuously come in. And when they come in, said a lot of times what we get is gratitude from them at the cash register. We are so grateful that this market is here. We're so grateful that you have fresh fruit and produce. We are grateful that you're in the community. And that makes me know that this is the right thing.
Well, Danielle, I really do believe it's important to note that the health disparities in many Black communities across the country have always lacked, access and availability. Case in point, you can have liquor stores on every corner. You're going to have more alcoholics. You can have more convenience stores selling junk food, and you're going to have diabetes and high blood pressure and bad cholesterol. So
goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So, just to know that, communities like this is going to get access to, cleaner, healthier food, and they don't have to walk so far. I just think it's a blessing to those communities, and it should be more of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can find out more about the inspirational story of the market at EastPoint on their website, market@eastpoint.org.
Yes. Coming up, though, we are going to get some more mortgage advice from our expert right here on Main Street Living.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, buying a house is a huge decision and a huge financial investment, but I believe we've all heard that owning real estate is one of the best ways to grow wealth. So there are a few good reasons to get into the market, don't you think?
Yeah, but like you said, buying property can also be very confusing with different mortgage options, interest rates, terms, all things that I don't know a lot about. And with so many choices, how do you know what to do? Our next guest is our go-to expert for mortgage advice. Please welcome the past president of the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, John Stevens. John, welcome back to Main Street Living.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back. I didn't know after last time if you guys, you embarrassed us too much, John, right? So glad to be back.
Well, John, the real estate market, as we know, is on fire right now, but the idea of getting in could be scary. What's your advice? Is it a good time to buy or sell a home?
You know what? It's always a great time to buy a home. Everybody sits there. Remember last year, everybody talking about, home prices are going up so fast. We're going to wait to buy. And every single one of those homes, everybody, I wish I would have bought then. You know, what's that old saying? The first best time to plant a tree, 12 years ago, right? The next best time to plant a tree, today. And so if you're looking at it as a short-term solution, buying a home, that's a very narrow-minded view. You have to look at it long-term. If you're renting right now, you're making somebody else rich. If you buy a home, it's a forced savings account that you have, that you're putting in, the equity you're building towards your own retirement. So it's always a great time to buy.
Yeah, it sounds like as soon as you made that last point, it was like a thing. It let us know that you hit it right. You hit it right on the number. So one thing that we know is that the interest rates are going up. They're going up again this year. How much impact does that really make on the cost of a house or a loan?
So it has a tremendous impact. And I'm glad you guys asked that. So to go back into the 80s when their interest rates were 18%, The average home in San Francisco couldn't be $1 million. The average home in San Diego couldn't be the 700,000 plus, because people would not be able to afford an 18% interest rate. One of the main reasons that you're able to afford a higher amount is because the interest is lower. And so as interest rates go up, your buying power goes down, meaning you can't afford as much home. Do you want the pool, the hot tub? Do you want the nice new house versus a fixer-upper? All of those things 100% are affected by the increase in interest rates. And so inflation is real. When interest rates go up, your buying power goes dramatically down and can cost you tens of thousands of dollars more over the life of your loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you know what I'm going to ask. What are some ways to make sure that you're getting the best possible interest rate?
Shop, right? At the end of the day, it always
That I
makes
can
you
do.
laugh, right? People will drive miles to find the best price on gasoline. But when it comes to a mortgage, they often just, I trust so-and-so. They don't shop around. They don't look into the places that actually have the professional experts. And obviously that's something that we're very passionate about over here at SRE.com, is we bring our SRE professional experts to you, and they find the best suited rate for you. So that keyword, right, that we all love, shop, it's critical. You need to make sure that in one of the largest investments of the vast majority of people out there, myself included, that you actually get opinions from more than just one person that you trust or is your friend. They can still be friends, but if you need to make sure you're getting the best thing possible for your family.
True words spoken from the president of SRE.com. Now you got to tell us, what are some of the services that you guys provide over there?
So right now, when you come in, you go to SRE.com, you can go through and see down below that we're actually a social marketplace. We're bringing on many different tenants within. Right now, we're focused on mortgage. And so when you come in and click Be Matched, you'll be matched with an SRE professional expert that, as I mentioned before, will help you, talk with you, give you the advice and counsel. These are SRE professional experts that are from all across the nation. And so to be very clear, these aren't SRE employees. These are not individuals that work for us. These are licensed and educated individuals out there who this is what they do for a living. They want to make sure, and they'll give you the advice and the counsel. They'll get in there and say, hey, you know what, Quincy, based on what you have, here's what I would do. But it's still your choice. And that's what I love about it. That's what the difference is between working with a professional and working with someone who's just there because it's their job, right?
Right. Well, it's interesting because like a lot of things today, it's possible for home buyers to go through most of this process online and on their own. So what's kind of the advantage of working with an actual live person, a mortgage professional?
Oh, I love that, Danielle. That is actually part of our logo, perfect segue. So with it, you talk about this human assisted e-commerce, right? You want to do everything you possibly can until you don't want to. And then you want to pick up the phone or be able to email or talk to a live person. People out there, all of us on here, we're more educated than we've ever been about housing, about the process, because everything, the entire world is at our fingertips. We're able to look it up, find out about the crime rates, the schools. Okay, what's their taxes in the past? What is it sold for? But at the end of the day, if you get to a point where you just want to have a little bit extra knowledge or reassurance, you need that human piece. Think about when you go shopping. If it was so easy just to pick out shopping again, right? If it was so easy to pick out the shoes or clothes you want, you would continue to only shop online. But sometimes you really just want that individual who can help you, give you their opinion. You're still going to choose what you want, but that human assisted piece of e-commerce is critical. And at SRE.com, we believe that it is necessary in order to stay and continue to be relevant to the entire world, to have that human assisted piece in the e-commerce.
Okay. All right. So I have a question I'm just going to throw in there. Like I own rental property as well, but I'm always getting people trying to buy it from me as a homeowner of that property. Should I continue to hold on to it or just let it go? And after you answer that, how can viewers get more information about SRE?
So great. Two great questions there. Let me grab my crystal ball and see, right? Based on that and based on the amount of supply out there, I would say it's still a great time to retain your properties. Okay. Remember, property value go up and down, and we've seen tremendous growth right now with everything. If you're looking to cash out and buy other properties, do a 1031 exchange and then expand the amount of properties you own, then yes, sell when it's high, right?
Gotcha.
Now, for myself, I can tell you what I'm doing. I am looking at selling some of our properties in order to do exactly that and go out and buy more properties, because then those, as each, you can either keep your money increasing at this percentage or spread that same percentage out over multiples, and you've doubled the percentage, tripled the percentage, and you're building your long-term wealth that way. The second question, SRE.com. That's what I love about the name of our company. It's so easy. You go to SRE.com. Click on that. Look at that. You can see the over 32,000 professionals that are SRE professional experts that are there. You can see that when you do something, when you use one of our SRE professional experts, you receive that 20% rebate. And there are rates as low as 1.55% APR on a 15-year fix. So in today's world where everything's inflation, everything's going up, rates are rising, what they mentioned the other day, 5 times this year they're expecting.
Yeah.
We still have rates as low through our SRE professional experts as low as 1.55% APR on a 15-year fixed. So very exciting.
There you have it. Thank you, man.
Well, this is why we need the professionals to explain it to us. So thank you so much to John Stevens for joining us again.
Anytime. Thanks again for having me.
All
right, next up, let's continue our conversation about the real estate market. We're going to see how One San Diego Group is helping others find their home sweet home. Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, there's been a lot of talk today lately about the lack of affordable housing in this country. And with housing prices skyrocketing and the wealth gap growing, things are getting tougher for most of us.
Yeah, it's true. And there's another gap that is sadly still growing, and that is in the home ownership rates between Blacks and whites. Now, the Black Community Investment Fund through the San Diego Foundation, they're working to change that. Take a look.
The San Diego Foundation inspires enduring philanthropy to create community solutions. So we are essentially a community foundation that works directly with philanthropists who wish to deposit money with the San Diego Foundation to either directly contribute to nonprofits in our region, or they come to us and ask us to help them find nonprofits to support causes that are of interest to them. In 2020, the San Diego Foundation, largely in response to the social unrest that we were seeing across the country, started a program in collaboration with the Central San Diego Black Chamber of Commerce called the Black Community Investment Fund. The Black Community Investment Fund is intended to be a resource of support to help build generational wealth within San Diego's Black communities. With this initiative, we decided to focus on 4 disparities based on lots of data that was collected to really understand what are the key areas that if we were to make investments could actually have the impact of improving the trajectory of lives for Black San Diegans and really helping them build generational wealth. And so the conclusion was that there were 4 things that we could focus on, those being education, helping with entrepreneurism, helping with workforce and job training, and then the 4th was with home ownership.
All of the living spaces upstairs. For our family, the opportunity to buy a house was life-changing. If you do what you're supposed to do, you go to work and you stay out of trouble and you just want to have a little piece of something to call your own. And so by getting the grant, we have our first place.
There are fewer Blacks by percentages of the population in San Diego who own their homes than any other minority group. And so we thought that if we were to invest in a program that actually helped to increase home ownership for Black San Diegans, that would have the long-term impact of helping to build and increase generational wealth in the region.
So this is my kitchen. When it comes to generational wealth, my thoughts have been like, buy a property, buy more properties, sell or rent. That comes from my dad mainly. He had, not too long prior to me buying this place, bought a place, and well, he did it. Why can't I do it? So I brought my little brother out here. He's actually living with me right now. And I want him to then follow in my footsteps somewhat.
Anyone who is interested in learning more about the program can contact the San Diego Foundation, which is sdfoundation.org/Black community.
On behalf of our entire family, just really express gratitude because in 2021 we had our very first Christmas in our own home, and that was due to people paying it forward.
Wow, Danielle, I could say truly, like, this is so impactful because I've seen firsthand how home ownership for Black families can be much rougher.
Well, yeah, and even like he said at the end there, he saw his dad do it. If he can do it, why can't I? And so it's just so important to see other people be able to do it and also increase access, obviously. So you can find more about the Black Community Investment Fund at sdfoundation.org/Black community.
That's right. Well, coming up next, Danielle, we're setting our sights on Olympic gold. So prepare to be inspired when we get back.
Hey guys, welcome back into Main Street Living. You know, being the best at something usually takes years of practice and the kind of dedication that most of us just don't have. If you spent even a few minutes watching the Olympics the past few weeks, you've seen this with your own eyes.
Yeah, and competing as one of the best long jumpers in the world regarding Summer Olympics, right? It's a spectacular accomplishment. Imagine doing that without being able to see. Man, y'all have to take a look at this incredibly inspiring athlete.
I'm Lex Gillette, 5-time Paralympic medalist, 4-time world champion, and world record holder in the long jump for totally blind athletes. I lost my sight when I was 8 years old. My mom, she was the one who told me that I don't want you to be bound by society's expectations and opinions of what they believe that you can and cannot do. You decide what you can do and no one else. Nice. Running and jumping without your eyesight is one of the most incredible feelings out there. Wesley, he walks me to that start mark where I begin my run. He'll then jog to the opposite end, which is about 115 feet, 34, 35-ish meters away, giving me the best target possible with his voice and his clapping hands. When I leave the ground though, to jump and soar through the air,
ooh, there you go,
and eventually land in the sand, that is my way of defying gravity. I equate gravitational pull to naysayers and people who attempt to hold you down and lock you to the earth. No one is going to lock me to the earth. I'm going to fly.
Big breath, get tight.
Celebrating Black history is very important. I think that the conversation and the discussions are great, and I think that it's amazing that we certainly celebrate Black history, but I think that it certainly extends beyond just these 28 days. We need to get to a space where we are making this country a better space to live in. No need for sight when you have a vision is a mantra that I came up with. Eventually, I started to notice that it was much more than just something to stamp on a pamphlet or a website. It's my life. At the end of the day, it's not our eyes that ultimately determine success. It's our ability to see that vision, to develop that plan, connect with the right people, and do everything in your power to bring that vision into fruition. My ultimate goal as an athlete is to go to the Paralympic Games and to win a gold medal. Beyond athletics, my goal is to continue being an advocate, a mentor, an ally, and be a guide for other people so that they can navigate down their own runway and soar into their destiny.
Wow, you got to be inspired by watching that. Kudos to you, Lex Gillette.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Olympics. You can find more information about Lex or get in touch with him through his website, lexgillette.com.
All right, straight ahead, we got more of Main Street Living coming up next.
Welcome back into Main Street Living, Quincy. Another great show.
Yeah, and I see another great list of champions there over your right shoulder there, LA Rams.
You know, we just win championships here in LA. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, not everybody can win championships, but everyone can catch all of our episodes, past and present, on our Cox Contour app.
That's right. And new episodes of Main Street Livings every Monday, so don't miss out.
That's right. And until Cheryl gets back, no more strolling down Main Street.
All right. Well, so then we'll just see you next time on Main Street Living.